reality he's in. You know, because Sam is obviously, for those who haven't watched the show, Sam had some hard times last season. Yeah, and now we get to play with Sam's healing. And I think the Winchester brothers have always kind of, they've always reacted to things with courage and bravery and been strong about it. And what excited me so far in the scripts that I've read is that Sam is way out of his league. He feels out of his league a little bit. It's kind of scary. So I actually read it and I was getting chills. And I was scared. And I was really excited about making this show scary again. And we get to see what can scare the Winchester boys. So we get to play with that. So I'm excited.
And Jensen, they don't keep...
Misha shirtless scares the Winchester boys.
I think you're confusing fear with jealousy.
Jensen, things weren't actually, very happy for your character at the end of last season either. Obviously you have a very big problem to deal with right now, which is that Angel calling himself God. But how much is weighing on your character of what he just had to sacrifice and what he had to sort of leave behind going forward?
Well, I think the goodbye to Ben and Lisa, tough as it was on Dean, I think it was a necessity. He comes to the realization that that's never going to be his life. No matter how much he dreams about it, no matter how much he would love it to be so. He's a hunter. He'll always be a hunter, and that's just the way it's going to be. So I think that was a must, and it happened, and it was a tough scene to shoot. Just for Dean, or for me as Dean, it was a sad goodbye. But now we've got a bigger problem on our hands.
Yeah. Well, that leads me to a question. I was going to ask this question, but someone on Twitter also asked it. AJ Snow 76. You've got a character saying "I am God," but you have a character out there that a lot of people speculated about, which is Chuck. And I'm just curious, might he be appearing again? Might you touch upon that now that you're going where you are with Castiel?
Chuck does not appear at the early part of the season. We have no plans for him to. Also, a big part of, Cass stepping up and taking this sort of mantle on and saying, "I'm the new God," is that he has always felt really strongly that his father abandoned them all. Like, where's God when you need him? We had this storyline about him looking for God, and God never showed up. He did the whole go out for cigarettes and never come back thing. So that's always been a big deal for him. So one of the questions we asked ourselves was, well, you're God, what do you do? You're God, you get to be your dad. You thought your dad did a crappy job. What are you going to do differently? And before everything goes completely to hell for him, which of course it does because it's television, he gets to do what we think God would maybe do if Cass were God. So that's been fun.
Misha, what's it been like for you preparing to take on your godly mantle?
It's like I said, it's just.
It's like a glove.
Another day in the office.
Yeah, taking a lot from my personal life and leaving it into the character.
Getting him to take it off is the hard part.
Yeah. Very method, so I've been smiting. I've been smiting.
Took him
far more than usual up in Vancouver. You might have seen it on the news. I don't know what to say. It's definitely a daunting challenge. It's funny. It's one of those things that actually I got kind of nervous about it. Like, this is it's a big challenge. I mean, you had to be Satan. It's kind of right?
Yes. That's much.
I've got to take a page from you. That's a way to answer questions. I think that everybody on Supernatural at some point or another has an opportunity to play a very interesting, very epic, mythological character, and it's something that we don't get to do working on other shows. It's an unusual treat to get to do, and an unusual challenge.
Speaking of,
it's almost earnest.
That was, yeah. That was heartfelt.
Creepy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Misha Collins.
The show, because the characters get to change and transform so much, I'm trying to think. I think every single one of you have had a death scene. I'm pretty sure.
Death scene?
Yeah, or multiple.
I think like 6 times.
Have you all enjoyed A, getting to do your big death scene, and then B, getting told, and you're okay, don't worry, you know, you're still fine.
I died like 40 times in one episode. Oh no, I died again.
Sarah, do you make a lot of phone calls saying, don't worry, when you read that page in the script, you get better? Is that like a constant thing?
We actually do make a lot of phone calls to actors, recurring actors on the show. You know, it's a polite and good thing to do as a producer to call an actor when they're going to get pages that say they die. And one of the things we say is that death doesn't mean the same thing on Supernatural that it means on other shows. You know,
Like
for
Glee.
example, Alone in Tall.
Was that out loud?
Well, we've made that call to a lot of actors. Jared and Jensen, don't worry about it, but everyone, you know, no one is safe on the show. But
Jared and Jensen, don't worry about it. You know how many times Jensen has cried in my arms? You're not going to die, Jensen. You're not going to die. It's okay.
sweet.
We can't do it without you.
Guys, we're going to start taking questions from you guys. Just a few minutes to get those prepared.
It's not personal.
You know, the fans, it's you know, conflict is good drama, and then of course though some of the fans are like, why do Sam and Dean have to be fighting, you know, all the time? For you guys though, you know, is it fun for you? You know, you get along in real life to be like, all right now we're at odds. We get to hate each other for the day.
I think the brother bickering is always been you know, a part of the show that he and I have just kind of done you know, pretty easily. It's when, like last year when Soulless Sam was around and he wasn't playing Sam. That was a real kind of challenge, I think, for me as an actor, because it wasn't Sam. I wasn't able to play Dean with Sam like I had been for the past 5 seasons. So I think that was definitely a challenge. But no, we have no problem fighting with each other.
Seriously though, that is one of my favorite parts. The brothers bickering, the brothers fighting. I felt like I can remember certain times. I don't know what the episode was or what it's called, but I remember we shot one scene. I want to say either Bob or Kim directed it, season 1 or 2, or fighting like in a motel room, like snap out of it. And I feel like after each and every one of those scenes, I feel like Sam grew kind of by accident, in spite of himself, as opposed to, or in spite of myself. And so I enjoy those scenes because inevitably when you've worked with somebody for so long as an actor and know them so well as a human being, you're able to get more out of each other. You know, if a guest star comes on, no matter how talented they are, and they're often very talented, they can't quite pull out of you what somebody that you know. It's like you always hurt the ones you love, you know? Like you always hurt them the most, and they always hurt you the most. The better you know somebody, the more you can push their buttons, and the more your buttons can be pushed. And so I feel like, as Jared, I feel like my character grows when I have these intense scenes with Jensen. And that was difficult for me too, to do Soulless, because there'd be parts where I was kind of just, I assumed dead-eyed. I don't know what I looked like, but I was trying to do dead eyes, like. And then it felt so bad because I couldn't react and respond to Jensen, to Dean. But now we get to fight again. That wasn't really, I was hoping for like a climax at the end of the question, like, all I get is now we get to fight again, so bear with me.
Jim, not that any of these characters are lucky in love, but you know, last season it was pretty sad when we got that glimpse of another life for your character. You know, do you ever say...
always a bride, never a bridesmaid, something like that.
Always a bride, never a bride. I think you... No, that's right. Yeah.
Have you talked to Ben or Sarah, these guys, and said, hey, can this guy finally find some long-term happiness?
Didn't you kiss Mark?
Yeah. Maybe the two of you, yeah.
Did he shave? Were you clean shaven?
We're not
It was
looking
like
forward to
it was
that.
like a mustache fight?
I've got a beard. You know, it comes up in discussion every once in a while, and thus far hasn't ended well. I had this sneaking suspicion that I don't know, that we haven't seen the last of Sheriff Mills in Bobby's life in one way or another, but that's just a sneaking suspicion, and it's one I would fully support if it came around to that, because unlike the Sheriff Mills that I played on Harper's Island, this Sheriff Mills is hot. So I'm up for that.
Before we start the audience questions, are there any characters you can talk about? Because your show is great at bringing people back. People back from years ago you might not even be thinking about. Any plans for some characters to return?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Joe is coming back, actually.
Really?
Yeah, Joe. Really?
See, we find out when you find out. Isn't that great?
We actually found out after because the sound echoed and hit us through applause.
I mean, that's a perfect example of someone who dies on the show, and we're literally sitting in the editing room watching dailies and going, I can't wait to bring her back. So we've just been waiting for the right story for her, and we have one, so we're bringing her back. Sheriff Mills is returning for an episode or two, and at least. And who else is coming back?
This gentleman down there waving his hand.
You with beard.
We do have plans for Crowley to return. Death. You will see Death again. Yeah. And so, and we have a few more in the works. I'm a little superstitious about talking about them before the deals close. Call me crazy. But, and you'll meet new guys too. And there'll be laughter, there'll be tears.
All right, guys, let's start with some audience questions. Can't quite see you, but we know you're out there. Okay?
Come on, quiet down. Quiet. Good question. Quiet down. Good question. Will you?
Professional forum.
Hello there.
Hi.
My name is Isaiah. I'm really amazed to see you all. I'm a mad fan. And I'd like to know, honestly, watching you as actors, you have facial expressions, gesturing that is very similar to grammatical structures of American Sign Language. Have you considered using those skills as sign language components in some of your scenes?
Oh wow.
Ben, the sign language episode sounds totally up your alley.
That sounds pretty good. What? How are you guys going to incorporate more sign language into your performance? I think
That's a cool idea.
Yeah. We
They
could
would
run
have
two
to
stories at once.
Yeah, you could have one be completely wrong.
What do you think, Ben? That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I think that Ben and Sarah might disagree with me, but I think that you can say a lot without saying words, and so thank you for picking up on that, because I think that's something that a lot of us pride ourselves in bringing to our characters, is the things that we say between the lines. So it wouldn't it be great if we didn't have to say words at all?
At this point, too, with you two, we have 5 or 6, it's like the 29 words for snow. We have so many different ways of saying that you two exchange a look. We could just write a scene of the different looks you two exchange. We probably
Good.
Yeah.
We would have you could probably cut together an entire episode of just Sam looking at Dean and
Exchanging
Dean
a look.
looking back. Yeah.
I believe I've seen that on YouTube, Jensen.
I'm sure it is.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. It'll be okay.
Hi, I'm Whitney, and this is Rosemma.
I'm Jared.
Hello.
We love you guys, and we're like the biggest fans, and we just love all you guys.
Thank you. Even Misha?
Jensen,
Not in that order.
and our question is for Jensen. We're wondering
Oh, come
what
on.
similarities you have with your character.
What similarities I have? I'm not
Physique.
Physique.
The same hair.
looks.
Height, definitely height.
Yeah, similar height. I would say that you look back to maybe season 1, and there were probably a lot more characteristics that we shared. I think over the years, Dean has kind of evolved into a much more specific character that I am not. Similarities. We like the same kind of music. We like vintage cars. And that's about it.
They both air guitar all the time whenever Eye of the Tiger comes on.
Yeah, and neither one of us can stop ourselves when Survivor plays, apparently. So that's that's about it. Yeah. What?
My question for Misha, and I was just wondering if being the Antichrist has helped you, and maybe influence you on being Godcast?
Wait, can you repeat the question?
Since you're the Antichrist and all that, has that, influenced you, how you play Cass as God?
Wait, are you asking if he's actually the Antichrist?
In person or as a character?
I'm not sure I like this question.
You get a variety of answers from us.
Well, yeah, since I'm a Satanist, that does, inform how I play the character. and every time you asked the question just now, Jared was saying something so that it's hard to actually process two things at once, I'm finding. So I don't.
You don't
I
know
still
what
don't know what the question was.
What is the question?
On your Twitter, there's this really weird church group that said you were the Antichrist.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I don't know how they figured that out. Because I was trying to keep it totally under wraps, but I obviously slipped up a couple of times, and cat's out of the bag. So, yep, I guess I've just got to embrace it now.
I think you should smite them.
Yeah. Actually, that's kind of ironic. You'll understand why when you see the first episode of the season.
Sure. Next question, please.